Ari's wedding.
Oh, I love this. That's a good song.
You're always late. Who's next?
Name of that movie.
So shy, I couldn't even get him to bring his instrument for a lesson.
We're still not over.
Good job.
I'm going to try a melodic one.
Yes,
How many times through?
two times through.
Standing by the window on one cold and cloudy day, and I saw the birds come rolling, for you carried my mother away.
Please join if you can.
Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, oh, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Undertaker, Undertaker, please rise to for his body you are hauling. Lord, I hate to see her go.
Here we go.
Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. Home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
Thank you.
I was getting
That's
the
fun. So, but in this song, it's actually, it's still a popular song in the bars. So I'm going to sing a verse, and then the chorus goes, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. So, are we ready? Here's the song.
Need some Irish whiskey.
Oh, no, I'll leave it over there.
Now, can I start this one? I have never started, so. Dutton, fair city, where the girls are so pretty, was there that I first met sweet Molly Malone. And she wheeled her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and muzzles, alive, alive. Here we go. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and muzzles, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure was no wonder, for so were her mother and father before. They each wheeled their barrows through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and muzzles, alive, alive. Here we go. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and muzzles, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. Now her ghost wheels her barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and muzzles, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and muzzles, alive, alive, oh. Last time. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and muzzles, alive, alive, oh.
Now you know
Which
why I
is
took it.
clams and oysters. That's what they're.
But we won't play all 6.
You know some of them, don't you?
I don't know any verses to this.
Yeah, I bet.
Your nose is growing.
Yeah,
Again?
I'm going to do the verses I'm most familiar with here because I actually, at the elementary level, 4th and 5th graders actually square dance to this song, and I would call their dancing and stuff. If we had more room, I'd get you all up there standing, we'd square dance a little with it too. But this is for Paul here. This is his favorite.
listening, Paul, this is for you. It's for you.
He knows.
1, 2, ready, go. Old Joe Clark, he had a house 15 stories high. Every story on that house was filled with chicken pie. Round and around, old Joe Clark, round and around I say. Round and around, old Joe Clark had that long to stay. I went down to old Joe's house, never been before. He slept on a feather bed and I slept on the floor. Round and round, old Joe Clark, round and round I say. Round and round, old Joe Clark over to. The prettiest girl I ever saw went running round the house with a dog skinned all around her neck. The tail was in her mouth. Round and round, old Joe Clark, round and round I say. Round and round, old Joe Clark had a dog to say. Right now. I'm sorry. Yeah.
June, probably in the cold weather, because our whole backyard was white. And we have 2 bird feeders, and Stan's very good about keeping the bird feeders filled up so the birds can come in. And it was perfectly white out. It had just snowed, so there weren't any tracks or anything anywhere. And the Zoom is on, but they were discussing something. So I'm gazing out the window like I do sometimes, and there's the white snow and the 2 bird baths, and this big bunch of red cardinals comes in and just swoops down. and does a figure 8 around the two bird feeders, and lights her, and they don't ever stay very long. And then they decided to go up again, and they did a figure 8. I go, aren't they talented birds? They're beautiful. Yeah. So let's see if I can play this.
I think I might have done this last year, but I know there's some people that weren't here, but I'll just.
Oh, I remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're in it. That's why you remember. I'll never sing in a stadium. Probably never even sing in a bar. But if you want a first-rate concert, come along and hear me sing in my car. You know, I've even met Tish Westman, and I know her hubby Greg too. He has more stories than old Johnny Prine, and Tish's musical zoo. This is what music has brought me. A what? And a life filled with fun. Friends that are just like family. Everybody here is one. You might know our friend Donna Malus. She likes horses, sailboats, and dogs. She lives in a cabin in Blue Rock, Ohio, with the bears, the deer, and the frogs. And how about my good bud, Bill Schilling, who's always able and willing to pick up his old banjo and lead a big sing-along of all those great old folk songs. Then there's our good friend Marge Diamond. Where you at, Marge?
I'm right there.
Marge, she's a hoot. Well, she knows everybody. Chances are she even knows you. This is what music has brought me. A wife and a life filled with fun. Friends that are just like family. Everybody here is one. Well, I thought I was done with this song when my wife said, "You didn't write about me." Sandy likes rum chata and fireball whiskey. Music, poetry, God and me.